Hi, it's Will from stormthecastle.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make trees, miniature trees, for dioramas and model railroads. And there's two very specific techniques I'm going to show you. The traditional technique using all bought materials from Woodland Scenics, and the technique where you can make your own trees from wire and various materials. So let me start with the first technique. Woodland Scenics has a whole line of products that you can make trees. See, I have some trees here that I've made in various dioramas and different sizes and whatnot. They give you these, you can buy these kits that have these tree armatures in them. See, now you take that armature and you fold it into a three-dimensional shape. So it's tree-like, it's not flat. Then you take that and you apply some kind of a cement or glue to it. I use Hobby Tack, it works really well. You let it sit for a period of time until it gets really, really sticky, really tacky. That's why it's called Hobby Tack, it's very tacky. For that, it's 15 minutes. Once that sits, for the period of time that's really tacky, you take a bag of foliage and you dip the tree in it. My tree isn't glued, but you dip the tree in it and you roll it around and you get all the material stuck to it really well. Then you can touch it up a little bit. Add little pieces, add maybe a little bit more glue, and touch it up so it looks great. And so that's the traditional way to do it. That's a pretty standard thing. And afterwards, I like to spray it with a little scenic cement to fix everything in place. You can make, actually you don't need scenic cement, you can make this by using white house glue and with about a 50-50 mix of that and water. Then you can spray it on if you want to, but that's optional. So that's the normal way to make it. And I did want to say that, you can cut these trees, you can shape them, you can make this a smaller tree, you can make it 2 trees, be creative with it. And when you're dipping it in materials, use more than one shade. Use various shades because trees aren't exactly the same uniform color. I like to use 2 or 3 different shades of green if my trees are going to be green, and you can see that. I have multiple shades of green. I'll show you a close-up. Now, I want to talk about improvising some trees, some miniature trees. You can make some great trees using wire, and you can use just about any kind of wire. I like to use 14-gauge house wire, strip out the bare wire, and then make my tree out of that. You can use extension cord wire or appliance wire, and you strip out all the single strands. You just put a bunch of them together and you do a very similar technique. So what I start here is a good way to start. You're going to need to experiment a little bit to get a feel for it. But I have 4 pieces here that actually have 8 strands. Put them together using 2 pairs of pliers and then twisted them. Just like that. So now the bottom is twisted and the top is on my branches. Then I painted this brown. I painted the bottom brown. That's the trunk. Now I can apply the Hobby Tack to this, dip that in my bag, and I've got a tree. So that's how you can improvise using wire. Here's a tree right here that I made using copper wire. I'll give you a close-up. So, yeah, pretty good. There you go. So one more thing about the foliage. Foliage is kind of tough. Woodland Scenics makes some great foliage. It's perfect for this. It's what it's made for. But if you're really stuck and you want to get some foliage, you might want to try using scouring pads from the kitchen. This is like a scouring pad, and the green ones are better. This one isn't green. This one's kind of old. But you can actually use these kind of scouring pads. Try out some different ones, and tear them apart to get like this material. And then you can use that material for your tree. So it takes a little time, but you can tear that apart. So you can improvise. And this tree here, I'll show you this one tree here. You can see that one has a different kind of material rather than that. It's more wispy, like the scouring pad. So that's it. That's a couple of different ways to make your own trees using traditional tools or improvising your own tools. Plenty more diorama stuff on my website, plenty more tutorials, all kinds of crafts and projects. Come on over and check it out, www.stormthecastle.com. Thank you.